Coach, in the second half last week, no points scored for your offense. After looking back at the tape, what stood out, what Tennessee did, and what do you think your offense needs to improve on?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing in the second half for us, we had 4 possessions, and we had some negative plays on each of the first 3. We had sacks or penalties that got us really behind the chains, and we had some long third down conversions that we just weren't able to make. 3rd and 12, 3rd and 14, 16, those kinds of things that obviously are challenging to overcome. And then we had the last drive, which was the 2-minute drive that when we were down 2 scores and drove it all the way down, just weren't able to get it in. They did a good job possessing the ball on offense. They were 11 out of 14 on 3rd down, which allowed them to stay on the field and limit our opportunities. And we've actually been fairly good on 3rd down, getting off the field defensively, but unfortunately they did a good job converting those, staying on the field, and limiting our chances on the other side.
You incorporated a new wide receiver into your offense in Amari Cooper, much like the Eagles are trying to do this week with Golden Tate. What kind of approach did you take as far as getting Cooper ready for that first game?
Well, obviously just tried to immerse him in what we're doing and try to teach him what we're doing, what we call things, where to line up, what the protections are, what the routes are, the adjustments, the details that go with it all, and try to get him comfortable with our language and some of the nuances in our system. And he's a very smart football player. He's a very smart guy, and was able to pick it up. We did have a couple days in the bye last week of extra practice that allowed us to hopefully get him up to speed. And Sanjay Lal, our receiver coach, spent extra time with him. Scott Linehan spent time with him, and I just obviously think he did everything he could to pick it up as quickly as possible and really handled the work fairly well in the game.
Jason, what are your thoughts about the comments of Troy Aikman?
To be honest with you, I don't know any of the comments about Troy Aikman.
Really?
He said that the Cowboys need a complete overhaul.
Yeah, the biggest thing we're trying to do is focus on what we need to do to play our best football on Sunday night. So no real comment on that.
Jason, on the flip side of that, with the Eagles incorporating Golden Tate into the lineup, how do you prepare for a team when they add a new weapon like that and you really don't know what to expect from this offense now with that new piece?
Well, they have a lot of weapons. They really do. It starts with their quarterback, and they have good runners. They're obviously stout on the offensive line. They got tight ends. They got receivers. So there's a lot of different things you have to defend when you play the Eagles. And we actually just played against Golden Tate a few weeks ago when he was with Detroit, and we recognize the challenge he presents. He's been a really good player for a long, long time. So you add him to that arsenal. They got a lot of guys you have to defend. Obviously, we just have to be on the screws and make sure we play sound, fundamental defense, get everybody the ball, and do a great job getting these guys to the ground.
What is the challenge that Tate presents?
I just think he's a good player. You see him line up outside, you see him line up inside. They try to get the ball to him a lot of different ways, on different kinds of routes. He's very dangerous with the ball in his hands after he catches it. Tremendous run after catch player. Demonstrated that throughout his NFL career. That was certainly how everyone viewed him coming out of school at Notre Dame. He was a dynamic player, and he's continued that wherever he's played. So presents a lot of problems. He's an outstanding player.
How did your defense change without Sean Lee?
Well, obviously Sean was a big-time player for us, and not only a very productive player versus the run and the pass, but also a great leader. Makes everybody around him better. He's been able to do that throughout his career here. Highly regarded, highly respected guy on our team. But we drafted Leighton Vander Esch for a reason. Sean has missed time throughout his career, and at times when he's missed some games, we haven't been able to survive very well. And so we had to address that issue. And, Leighton in his young career has done a lot of good stuff for us already. You combine him with Jalen Smith and Damian Wilson and a couple of the other guys we have, you get those guys prepared as best you can, and you let them go play. And one of the great things about Sean is when he hasn't been able to play, he stays very engaged with our team and helps those guys out. So we recognize the challenge without him, but hopefully the guys are up for it.
Jason, you guys have not run the ball as well as I suspect you would have liked the last couple of weeks. What's been the biggest problem there?
Well, the run game is always a combination of a lot of things, controlling the line of scrimmage, not only with your offensive linemen, but with your tight ends and your receivers, and then, sometimes opportunities over the course of a game, depending on how the game goes, limit some chances that you might have in the game. But it's certainly a big part of what we're trying to do every week. We want to be a balanced attack that runs it and throws it and does each of those things a lot of different ways. And feel great about our runner, feel good about how our offensive line is coming together, and we just got to continue to be persistent with it.
Jason, with a bunch of teams like loading up with wide receivers in the last couple of weeks and everything, do you see that as kind of more of an emphasis on offense, especially with the way scoring has been up this season?
Obviously scoring is important. Stopping people from scoring is important. These things have been part of the game for a long time, and I think teams have always been interested in playmakers, guys who can help you score points. And in our particular case, that was an area that we felt we could upgrade with the addition of a guy like Amari Cooper, and he's a young player. And he still has a lot of football ahead of him, and he represents a lot of things we want in the guys on our team. A guy who loves football, cares about it, works at it, and can be productive for us on the field. So, we're excited to have him. I'm sure the Eagles are excited to have Golden Tate. These guys can make a difference in ball games.
In year number 3, how do you evaluate where Dak Prescott is currently at as a quarterback?
I think he continues to grow with the experiences that he has. Each team that he's played on has been different, and part of playing that position, really part of being on a team, is to be able to function at a high level, in any surroundings, and I think he's continuing to learn how to do that better and better with the group that we have, and hopefully improves week by week. He's an outstanding young man. It goes about the right way. He's done a lot of things up to this point in his career, and we believe he's only going to get better.
Jason, Jerry Jones said after the Tennessee game he never saw that coming. What are your conversations like with Jerry Jones after a game like that?
Yeah, we just talk about what happened in the game, and typically very unemotional if it's a win or a loss. We just try to go through what happened and the things we need to do to get better. And no different this week. The only difference is a quick turnaround from a Monday night game. Obviously our attention has to get on Philadelphia quickly, and so that's what we've done. That's really the approach we take every week.
Jason Kelce, the Eagles center, said on Philadelphia radio this morning that he doesn't like what the Cowboys organization has stood for, and he called your fans fair weather. What's your response to that, and how do you feel about the Eagles-Cowboys rivalry?
Yeah, no real comment on that. I have great respect for Jason Kelce. He's been a heck of a player for Philadelphia for a long, long time. But we're just focused on doing everything we can this week to go play the best football we can on Sunday night.
One of your former players is now signing with the Saints, and Dez Bryant. Just how do you react to that move of Dez joining Drew Brees and the Saints?
Really happy for Dez. Dez was a great player here for a long time, and someone I really love and care about. Had such a big impact on our team during his career, and excited for the opportunity that he has.
How much do you think he still has left in the tank?
Dez can be an impact player. There's no question about that. Certainly made a big impact on our franchise during his time.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you, Coach.
Okay, guys, have a great day.